Hi, hello, everybody, and welcome to Kingdom Compass TV, the show where we talk about shows episode by episode, week by week, for the most part, for our enjoyment and yours. I'm one of your hosts, Griffin Tennell. Griffey D-Pad with me, as always, the wonderful, the amazing Mr. Mitch George. Dude, I just did the wrong intro. I did the old intro. This is Kingdom Compass TV, where we talk about shows all around the internet. There we go.
It's close enough. We're barely scraping by here.
It's funny. I feel like, we struggle a lot just in general with recording because we are either just tired or sick or whatnot. It's rare for both of us to be sick.
Look, it is not going to be rare for me to be sick. I am a parent. I feel like that's part of the contract that you sign at the hospital to go home with your kid. Here, and you're going to be happy about it.
Okay, you cut out a little bit there, but that's fine. I'm just gonna disable some things, and we're just gonna keep rolling.
I'm sick because I'm a parent. It's not going away.
Yeah, and then I'm pretty good about not getting sick, but this one just hit me like a truck full of bricks. But we're here today. We're doing it. We're talking it. We're late, but we're talking about finale for Percy Jackson, the Olympians season 2.
We did it.
We're here. We're doing the thing. I'm excited to be chatting about this one. Episode 8. The Fleece works its magic too well. A little bit of housekeeping though before we jump into tonight's episode. First off, hi, thank you for joining us. If you are watching this late, thank you for watching. If you're watching it at all, as always, thank you for watching. We got a couple new things coming out. We will have another episode of this show soon, talking all about every episode of Wonder Man, which we'll get to as soon as I actually finish watching Wonder Man. Mitch finished it. Mitch is good.
Mitch enjoyed it, but you'll have to tune in to find out why.
And then we're also going to have an episode very, very soon, Mitch, about potentially the most important TV event of the year.
The Oscars?
No, more important than the Oscars.
Oh.
Did you forget?
Okay, the streamings.
No.
No, it's a bit. It's
Look,
a bit.
I can't see your face. I'm disabled view.
I sat at the dinner table tonight and reminded my wife by playing the Muppet theme on my phone, all right?
We have 2
and
days.
then went down a rabbit hole of listening to the Oscar-winning song of the century, Man or Muppet.
So I started a meeting at work today with, it's time to start the music, it's time to light the lights. And I have never been more proud of my coworkers.
For finishing the line?
Finishing the line, yes.
If I did that, people wouldn't know what I'm talking about. And that says about all you need to know about my job.
I'm so glad that I work with nerds. Anyways, yeah, main episode.
Muppets.
Main episode is going to be all about the new Muppet Show. Did we love it? Did we hate it? Who's to say? We don't know yet. It's not out yet.
We'll know in a few days.
Yeah, the fact that we're like 2 days away from a new Muppets project is genuinely insane to me, and I'm so hyped. So hyped. Will Kermit be moved from his location on there? Yeah, probably.
Probably.
No, we got that coming. We got a lot of other fun stuff coming too, as well as our shorts right now, all about Festival of the Arts over at Epcot. So please, by all means, go check those out as well.
Or the fact that it's cold and Dinosaur closed.
I think I made one about Dinosaur closing. I don't think I've made any about it being cold.
You probably should. It seems to be all that's coming across my TikTok feed right now.
Well, to be fair, you and I also keep sending each other those.
Yeah, because they're funny.
They're funny as hell. But no, we're talking today about Percy Jackson. We'll get away from the other stuff. We had our finale, Mitch. And in a shocking twist to Disney Plus franchises, they landed the plane. But for the most part.
Yeah, again, like, this was not, for me at least. I enjoyed these books well enough as a kid. I enjoyed what I got out of the movies when there was something to enjoy out of them. I enjoyed season 1. I wish I hadn't watched this week to week. I do think that this would have been a great weekend binge, because I do still feel like there's, and it's hard to say this, but it almost feels like each one of these books is not quite enough content to make this serialized show make every episode feel satisfying to someone who's not absolutely enamored with the source material. That being said, I enjoyed myself, but I do think that this would have been a better binge than it would have been going week to week.
Yeah, see, I'm still fully on the opposite side of that. Like, obviously, I love the source material for this one. For me, I don't have the attention span to binge something like this. I just don't. Um, I'm just gonna round it, but
The
8 hours of
irony
TV
of
is just
the
too much.
show or the book, at least delving into the ideas of ADHD and dyslexia and all that stuff, which doesn't really happen here, but I mean, I think
It's
for
referenced
the
in the
type of
title.
personality that can relate more to this content, you're probably right.
I think the show references just as much as it does in the books, which is we reference it at the top of the things. We make a joke about it here and there, but that's really it. um, yeah, I really really like this show. I really have loved this season. I think this season is weaker than season one was, but also
Yeah.
like the Sea of Monsters is pretty widely regarded as the worst of the original five books. So I'm not
Yeah,
entirely
and
surprised
that's
by
how I
that.
would feel about that book, and that's how I feel about this show, and that's how I felt about the movie. So that tracks, and I'm really
Yep.
hoping that it picks up. And I know that it's going to pick up with the creative team behind this for season three, the same way that the book series does.
I will say all this
So
said,
you got
season
to get
two
it
is
through a
not
little
bad.
filler. Second episodes aren't always the best. I mean, you look at Star Wars as an example of that.
I would say
At
all
least
that
the
said, I still think
prequels,
season
not this.
two. I still think season two is good. I think season two is even really good. I think it does a lot that I really, really wanted it to. And I do think that this finale is better than the finale of the first season. I think that this
Yeah,
hit
I would
me in all
agree
the
with you
ways I wanted
there.
it to. We got to see Percy finally be a leader, which is something we've needed to see for a little while now. Like Percy, in his own point of view, right, is this kind of dipshit, chilling, hanging out, doing his thing. But like Percy is a feared demigod for a reason, and seeing him take his leadership capacity here and leading the camp into war has finally come to Camp Half Blood. I loved it. I love seeing Luke in this episode kick ass, genuinely trying to kill Percy. Like we are past this little hee hee hoo hoo. Oh, we're trying to turn each other. No, now we are trying to kill each other. I love that. But then obviously the big thing for me in this, and I cannot wait for next season, is Thalia changing her story in what I think is the best change they have made so far in the entire show.
I fully agree there. I think it's very interesting where they're taking the resolution of the prophecy, how they're leaving that open, where it was a little less ambiguous in the books. I'm really excited to see where they go with that. One thing that I loved about the finale was the fact that we got Chiron back.
My boy.
One thing I did not like, where are the goddamn party ponies, Griffin?
Oh, the party ponies will return. Mark my
They
words.
friggin' better.
Look, I am slightly disappointed we didn't get the party ponies, and then I think, oh yeah, showing 30 centaurs in this style of CGI probably isn't gonna look great.
Budget is a thing, and I get that. But as someone who, knows the source material, it was a not a disappointment, but I'm
Look, I could totally see them bringing up the party ponies next season.
and I feel like they will. I mean, just knowing where the story goes. And it's just one of those things of like, it's little things. They don't change the overall dynamic of the show in any stretch. But I mean, even thinking back to season one, where they injected Hermes in the Lotus Casino, where that wasn't really a thing in the book. And I thought it was an interesting change. You weren't as into it,
No,
mostly because of
mostly
your
just Lin
thoughts on Lin
Manuel.
Manuel Miranda.
Well, even that, I like the story change. I think by and large, the story changes that they have made have been good. Like, I don't think there's any change they have made to the general story of Percy Jackson that I currently dislike. I think that there have been little execution issues here and there. The show is not always the prettiest show. Like sometimes the CGI doesn't look great. Um, this episode looked freaking fantastic.
Yeah,
Um,
no, I love the cinematography here. I like the way I like the way that the scenes were framed. I especially like everything with Chiron and everything post conflict once Thali is back, and the idea of what premonition they're getting through their dreams. All the stuff with Poseidon and Tyson was really great. So yeah, there's a lot to really like about this. But again, it is very much a middle chapter to what is going to be a much larger story in season 3, and then ultimately, ideally, we'll get to resolution through season 5.
Yeah, the way I'm kind of looking at it at the moment is you can tell that they greenlit seasons 2 and 3 at the same time. Kind of in the same way to bring it back to other things we've talked about recently, like we were talking about with Avatar, where it's like, oh, you can tell Way of Water ends to bring us to Fire and Ash. And that's
Yeah,
where I'm feeling on
yeah,
this
yeah.
one, where it's like, no, season 2 and season 3 is a two-parter, even though they're
Which
separate.
obviously, I mean, it makes sense. I assume they were shot back to back. The fact we already have confirmation that season 3 is coming this year. Pleasant surprise at the end of this episode.
Oh, that was awesome. I was so hyped. And we got our first actual Percabeth moment in that teaser. Um, but bringing us back,
Please never say that. Please never say that term again.
it's widely known internet shit, my friend.
I'm not into the internet shit, but maybe that's just me.
Look, people love this romance. Um, I just love Percy being. I love Percy and Annabeth just being absolute shitheads to other people. It's great.
Yeah.
Talked about a lot here already. We're gonna keep rolling things around. I want to talk about a couple of the little minor things that I thought were fun in this episode, and then we can talk about some of the bigger moments. The post-credit scene in Cersei Spa was fun.
Yeah.
That also like
Nice that they're kind of keeping that running gag up there of just like, oh, well, I guess they got away. I guess they're getting statues.
that also has like major implications if they decide to do Heroes of Olympus, which would be very very cool to see. Obviously, if we get there, we get
Yeah,
there.
I mean, I'll be curious to see if we get there and there's an appetite for it. Again, it's hard to do these things with these kind of shows with kid actors unless you very much change the plot, especially if we get to Heroes of Olympus, which is still meant to have like, oh yeah, Percy's like a counselor, but also Percy, but at that point will be what, in his late 20s. So like that just seems a little weird.
Yeah, but it makes more sense with them as late teenagers than it does when they're supposed to be like 12.
Yeah, I mean they could write their way around it, but it might start getting weird when, Walker Scoble's like 6'4" with, a different voice and weird facial hair.
Okay, you say that, but I'm talking about them being teenagers.
Yeah, I know. So you know what I mean? Like,
Also, frankly, if we're being honest, Percy's kind of supposed to look like shit throughout that entire series because he just constantly has terrible things happening to him. So it kind of worked.
I didn't finish anything other than the first book, so I can't speak to it.
Oh, so you didn't even read any of the ones with Percy. Yeah, that man goes through it. I'll tell you what. Great books though. Would love that. Yeah, love that they brought Chiron back. Mr. D in this episode was great. Like I
I mean,
love
you
Jason.
put Jason Mantzoukas in anything, and he can make word salad into some of the best acting in the world.
I love it, but I love that we finally got to see him actually like. Oh no, you can kind of see the pride in him for Percy when Percy's rallying everybody. Like I really.
Oh, you get
love
to see
seeing
him
that.
be the camp director here for the first time, which is nice.
Yeah. Love seeing Mrs. Dodds pop up again. Love seeing the Furies back. Would have loved for them to actually say reference that was her. But yeah, this big change, right? Like Zeus
Zeus.
being Zeus. Zeus is an asshole. We've all known it. But him like threatening Thalia and then turning her into the tree, like I really loved that. I think it plays like Thalia's entire story, right, is her avoiding the prophecy
Yeah.
in a way that still protects Annabeth. And like we see that here. We'll see that with future spoilers. But I really love this in all of it, and I love how this will also affect Percy and Thalia's relationship, where like these two hate each other.
It's going to be very interesting to see how that dynamic develops, especially with Annabeth in the middle of it. I hope we're surprised a little bit with where that goes from what we got in the source material, but ultimately the development of all of these relationships is why you want this as a television series or a streaming series in this case, rather than something that, those two movies that we got were certainly movies, but there wasn't a lot of room to develop those characters. And I think here they have a real opportunity to do so. And I honestly think Disney is missing a prime opportunity to bring some of, if not all of this show to their traditional television channels in a way that leads into season 3. Because I do think that this would be something that could capture audiences across those platforms, especially because those platforms don't necessarily have a ton of young adult content.
Yeah, I can see it. I don't think Disney has a place where this could easily go at the moment, though, unless they want to put it on ABC. Like that's the only place I could see them doing with this one.
That's what I was thinking was ABC.
But I do like when talking about Thalia in particular. I really do want to give a shout out to Tamara Smart, who's play. I believe I got that right. Like she gave one of my favorite performances of this entire show, and she's in it for 2 episodes, 3.
A few minutes tops.
Like genuinely, it makes me so. She is part of the reason why I'm so excited for next season.
Rightfully so. I think she does a great job of setting up the character here, and it'll be great to see where it goes.
Gonna just keep rolling through things, but with this, let's talk about the recast. Let's talk about had his name up. Yeah, here we go. Glenn Turman, or no, Glenn Turman plays Chiron. I read Chiron and just kept rolling. Now, who is it? I have it. Yeah, Courtney B. Vance as Zeus.
Yes.
Courtney B. Vance, an incredible actor. Most recently, you might know him as Cobra Bubbles in the live-action Lilo and Stitch movie. I really like him in this role, but I won't lie to y'all that them giving that little nod to Lance just hit me right in the heart.
It's tough.
Lance Reddick was an actor I loved that man. But I do think Courtney B. Vance does a very good job in this role.
It doesn't get a lot of screen time, obviously, with the role that Zeus plays in this story, but I'm very curious to see, especially if we do get into Heroes of Olympus, that there is a lot to play with this character. So I'm very curious, just with the chops that Courtney brings into this role. Not that Lance wouldn't have done it justice, but there is a lot to develop here with Zeus, Jupiter, as this all sort of unfolds. So very curious.
Even before Heroes, like even in the core 5 books, there's a lot to play with for Zeus. And I think Courtney B. Vance will do a very good job with that.
I mean, he's no Sean Bean, don't get me wrong, but
bars on the floor.
I mean, Sean Bean's a great actor too. I don't know what you want me to say.
It's not even Sean Bean's fault. There's a lot of reasons why those movies.
Fine. That movie was fine. It was the second one that kind of, did what it did.
They were both garbage movies.
The first one is fine.
No, it is not.
It is fine. It's not good by any stretch, but it's fine.
It is. We have an episode of this. Go watch it. Yeah, I really like Courtney B. Vance. I hope to see more of him in the future. I also really hope that they do not make him wear this fuck-ass hat again.
It did look weird.
Yeah. And I think it's mostly me just hating it because it's a fedora. Don't put him in the hat, gal. Let him be himself.
It was unnecessary. I'm with you.
Mentioned the war a couple times. All of the war scenes were dope.
It did feel a little made for TV, but ultimately, it was. So I can't really complain about that. It's just we've had things at quite a significant scale come to streaming, and it's hard to compare these things. But obviously, the budgets aren't quite the same. It's you're talking about kid actors and kid fighting, so you can only take it so far. And honestly, I think they took it further than I thought they would.
Well, also
with some of the combat, especially Luke.
This isn't the full war. This is a skirmish at best.
Yes.
This is Luke and his Half-Bloods and a couple of monsters versus the entirety of Camp Half-Blood.
Yeah.
When we get to if we get to season 5, that's when I expect
that'll be a different story.
Yeah. Season 5 needs Avengers Endgame, or at least Avengers level of stuff. And hopefully we get that then. But yeah, we had a couple really good fights. I actually really liked Annabeth being injured. I think it kind of forced Percy into this moment. And then everything with Clarice and the campers that were betraying them and all that, I thought that was all really cool. Really fun way of them doing it too. Just jumping straight to it. We all know how this is going to go. Um, we got a little bit more of Percy's mom. She's the best, as always.
Yeah, can't complain. 10 out of 10, no notes.
Trying to think if we've got anything else to talk about on this one, but I think we've hit most of it.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I'll say is, I mean, I suspect we'll get this again towards the end of the year as we did with season 2. So are you thinking what I'm thinking, and then this is December 26th for season 3?
I would predict, yeah, probably same timing, if not maybe even November. Um, I wouldn't be
I'm just trying to
surprised.
think if there's any. I mean, maybe November if they want to try to get it out before the Doomsday news cycle, so they're not eating their own lunch, so to speak.
I
I
just,
know it's not necessarily the same audience, but
I just think that they might not want to have this go over Christmas again.
again, I think they want all the attention in the world on Doomsday over Christmas. So if they either can beat that to market or they hold it until afterwards, it'll be interesting to see if they try to avoid butchering themselves here.
Yeah, I would guess either October, late October, early November, or
Because
or they push
Doomsday
it
is
back.
end of November?
Yeah, I think so. Didn't Doomsday just get moved though?
No. December 18th. I was wrong. It was always December 18th.
Maybe it
So yeah, I
was.
could see October to try to have it wrapped up the week before Doomsday or something to that extent.
I feel like something just got moved. Yeah, I could see them wrapping it up. Yeah, so that Doomsday takes over the news cycle for a little while, or they have something else in that Christmas slot.
Yeah, so that would if we're doing another 8 episode season, that takes us to the second to last week of October. If they do one episode a week, but again, this might be an opportunity for them to play a bit with the release schedule. If it's going to be closer to Doomsday, maybe you do like a 3-2-3 situation or something to that extent,
I think
right?
they'll keep for the weekly. I think they like that for this. I think they'll do the same thing they did this time in the time of in season 1, where they'll drop the first 2 episodes together and then go weekly
Yeah,
after that.
gives them that extra week of buffer to push a
But
little
I
either.
don't think that's a bad cadence. I honestly think that or like 3-2-3 or like a couple episode drops per week. I think that is my preferred cadence at this point with TV shows. I think that's what keeps me actually watching things. So I'm
It'll
fine
be
with that.
interesting to see how Disney continues to play with release schedules this year. I mean, we just got the release of Bridgerton season 4, which Netflix is very fond of their part 1, part X release cadence. So maybe there's something that Disney experiments with. Maybe Percy is that. Maybe it's something else. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
I'll tell you what. There's a lot I dislike about Netflix, but I love their release schedule. I love their release cadence.
I don't like it when I get to the end of part 1 of Bridgerton season 4 and have to wait a month. Okay. That is our guilty pleasure show. Granted, we haven't been able to watch it because, parents. And by the time baby's in bed, sometimes we record this. Sometimes I'm in bed by 8:30, which has happened 2 of the last 3 nights.
Have you ever heard of this thing called taking your time?
Nah, not really. I binged Wonder Man in 2 days. So,
Fair enough.
no.
Interesting little bit of a tidbit though for getting season 3 soon. Filming started on August 7th in Vancouver and is set to conclude in March. So we do still have a little bit of
Interesting.
time.
Yeah.
And that makes sense. I think
Well,
most of
when did they wrap on season 2? Because I imagine that as soon as they wrapped
January.
post production on season 2, that they started on season 3 post production.
They wrapped principal photography on January 31st, 2025.
Interesting. So you have to think that either there's less post production planned for season 3, which would make sense. You don't have any of the boat stuff or the water stuff, or you have less of it. You don't have none of it, but perhaps that's where they're taking with that, because either they've really nailed their production pipeline to be able to cut a few months off of post production, or it's just not planned for the need for as much in season 3 as compared to season 2.
Well, also just like thinking through season 3, right? I mean, like most of the story takes place in actual real life cities rather than
Yeah.
in the water, like you mentioned. A lot of it takes place inside or underground, so they can use stages for that. And I think that they'll be able to handle this fairly easily. Also looking kind of like what is going to be the more of the big crazy spectacle CGI moments of it. It's like, okay, so the finale, obviously. Um, I don't think this is a spoiler, but like it's kind of a spoiler. But Titan's Curse is where we get the famous Hoover Dam stuff.
Yeah, so there's going to
But
be some set pieces there, but again, that's either filmed on location or they're just doing secondary photography and then either filming that on a stage or somewhere in Vancouver. Like
I'll say
they'll,
also a lot of this is just going to be filmed in the woods of Vancouver.
yeah,
So can't wait. It's going to be awesome. I have hope because this is the one thing I can't have hope in. All right, that's going to wrap this one, folks. Thank you for hanging out with us, for chilling with us throughout this series. We will be back with more. We're talking about Wonder Man soon. We're talking about the Muppets soon. We're talking about a lot of other things. Maybe we'll finally let Mitch talk about Stranger Things.
maybe. But I also have other things to talk about that are wrapping tomorrow, I think, right? But I don't know if you've been keeping up with The Wasteland at all.
I've been waiting until it ended so I could binge it.
Pretty sure that's tomorrow. I
Oh,
think
well,
they moved everything up a day.
time to start watching.
Might be. But either way, we'll
All
be
right,
back here to
we'll be
talk
back
about
then.
more things with y'all very soon.
Keep an eye for that, but until then, be good to each other and have a magical day.